Hello, my crafty friends. Well, today I'm going to share some adorable card ideas with you that feature the stamp set from the December 2020 Paper Pumpkin Kit. Hi, it's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. In this episode of Stamptastic TV, I have 4 different card ideas featuring one of the images from the exclusive stamp set that comes in the Paper Pumpkin Kits. Now, the December 2020 Paper Pumpkin Kit is called Beary Comforting, and it came with an exclusive stamp set that has this adorable little bear image and some other fun images in it. And it also featured 3 different card ideas, and you could make 4 of each of these 3 different cards. So it came with all of the supplies to create these 3 different cards. And then it also came with some coordinating envelopes. So each of the cards has a coordinating envelope, so pretty cool. So all these images were actually little cutouts that came in the kit, so it was really easy to assemble these cards in this month's kit. Every time I get a Paper Pumpkin kit, I like to create some alternate ideas. So I like to show you ways that you can use the exclusive stamp set that you get in the kit. Now, if you are not a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, I highly recommend that you sign up for the subscription. It is a monthly subscription, and you can find out all the details about Paper Pumpkin by clicking on the link featured in the description below this video. Okay, so the first card we're going to put together is this adorable little card. So one of the things I want you to notice about the card is the layout that I'm using. So all of the card ideas that I'm going to share with you today, I'm really focused on the layout, so I have colored all of my images using some Stampin' Blends. If you have this kit, you can color your image using whatever coloring tools that you prefer. So let me show you how to put together this layout. So first I started with a piece of white cardstock for the base of my card. So this is just a standard card. The cardstock is cut at 5.5 by 8.5 and it's scored in the middle at 4.25 inches to create the base of the card. Next, I cut a piece of pattern paper at 5.25 by 4 inches. So you can use any pattern paper that you have on hand. I happen to be using some of the Artistry Blooms pattern paper, if you're wondering what this is. Next, you will want to cut a 1.5 by 4 inch piece of a different pattern. So I chose a different pattern from the same paper pack, and I'm just going to adhere that across the center of my card. So notice how this creates just a really fun background for my image. Next, I cut one of these rectangular shapes using the Stitched So Sweetly dies. Now, if you just want to create a rectangular shape, this one is approximately 2.5 by 3.75 inches. I simply stamped my image on here and colored it in with my Stampin' Blends. So I'm just going to adhere this off to the right-hand side of my card front. Next, I just created a little heart, and I'm just going to put that in the hands of the bear. Isn't that so cute? So you can use any punch or die cut you have to create that heart shape. Next, I just created a little bow here by tying together 2 pieces of white twine. So I'm just going to embellish my card here with that. And then for the finishing touch, I'm just going to add a couple pearls all around my card. So I like to add my pearls in groups of 3, kind of 2 clustered together and then 1 somewhere else on the card. And that is it. So how adorable is this little card? Now, I decided not to put a greeting on it simply because then I can use it really for any occasion. So here is what I did on the inside of the card. Just added a little bit of designer paper and a couple more hearts. And then I left this blank so that I can use it for any occasion. Okay, super cute. Okay, the second card idea is kind of similar to the first one in color. I'm using the same kind of pattern paper. This is probably one of my favorite layouts because it's very easy to do. This is just a 2 by 5.25 inch piece of pattern paper, and then the rest is just my adorable little images and some embellishments. So let me show you how to make this one. So for this card, we are going to start with a piece of Blushing Bride cardstock for the base of our card. Next, we're going to add a 2 by 5 1/4 inch piece of pattern paper on the left-hand side of the card front. So again, you can use any pattern paper you have on hand. Next, I'm going to add another one of my images, and then I have another little heart shape, so I'm going to put that in the center there. And then we'll go ahead and embellish it with another little bow. So this time I'm using some pink twine. And then of course we'll go ahead and embellish it with some pearls. All right, so there we go. Super cute and really simple. Okay, and here is how I decorated the inside of this card. Just very simple, just kind of using up some scrap pieces of pattern paper. All right, card number 3 has another fun layout. So this time I did a little partial embossing on the front of the card, and then of course use the same image and embellishments. So let me show you how to make this one. So you're going to start with a piece of Blushing Bride cardstock for the base of your card. So I've already done the embossing, but I'm going to show you how to do it. It's very easy. Actually, this little embossing folder makes it really easy to partially emboss because it is smaller than your normal embossing folder. But if I only wanted to, let's say, emboss this part of my card, anything I leave hang outside of the embossing folder will not be embossed when I send it through the machine. So if you're wondering how to partially emboss, that's how you do it. But this cute little folder makes it really easy to do the embossing, the partial embossing. All right, so once you have the embossing completed, then you can go ahead and add a little bit of twine. So I've wrapped a bit of twine around my cardstock here twice, and then I'm just going to create a little bow. So I like to tie my bows upside down because they tend to lay better that way. Okay, so once you have your twine all positioned, then you can go ahead and add your little focal point. So I have my adorable little bear here. And of course, I'm going to use another little heart and just pop that up right there. And then I like to puff out my bows a little bit. So I've created another bow. This is just 2 pieces of twine tied together to create this little bow. So I'm going to adhere this right over the top of the other one, using a little glue dot. And this just kind of fluffs it up a little bit and adds a little bit more depth and dimension to the card. And then of course, for the finishing touch, we can just go ahead and add some little pearls to the card front. All right, so there's card number 3, pretty quick and simple as well. So let me show you the inside. So for this one, I just added some white cardstock to the inside. This is a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece, and just decorated it with a little heart. And then I left it blank so that I can use it for any occasion. Okay, and this last card idea is another pretty simple idea. It does involve a little technique that's called watercolor wash. So I'm going to add this watercolor wash behind my stamped image. So let me show you how to make this one. So we're again going to start with a piece of Blushing Bride cardstock for the base of our card. I'm going to set this aside for now, and I'm going to bring in a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of shimmery white cardstock. So this cardstock is really great for watercoloring. You can also use watercolor paper. Okay, so for this technique, I'm going to be using this little aqua painter. So basically this unscrews here, and then you can fill this up with water, and then it has a nice brush tip for this technique. I'm also going to use the re-inkers. So this is Blushing Bride. I don't want to use water directly on my ink pad because it will ruin it. So I'm just going to add a little bit of ink there in the tray, and then I'll wipe that out later when I'm done. So basically I'm just going to add some water here and get a nice wash, and then we will just apply it. And you just kind of go back and forth with the color, and it'll dry with that nice pink, light pink color behind it. All right, so we'll give it a chance to dry, and then we'll put our card together. All right, so once you have your color wash on there, then you can go ahead and adhere this to your card front. Now, I did run mine through the embossing machine because every time you do, you know, a little bit of watercoloring the cardstock, like in this case, I'm using kind of some regular cardstock, it tends to bow a little bit. So if you run it through your embossing machine, it'll flatten it out more. Okay, and then I'm going to adhere this off to the right-hand side just a little bit, but I want to add some of these little dots here. If you don't have little dots, you can use little hearts or some kind of stamp to add just a little bit more color to the background. So I'm just going to add these up here. I'm just using Blushing Bride. And then we'll add a couple dots down on the bottom. And then we can go ahead and position our little image here. And of course I have another little heart that I'm going to have my little bear hold. And then I'm just going to add some more white twine tied into a little bow. And then for the finishing touch, we'll just add a couple more pearls. So I just love the little watercolor wash in the background. It just really helps make this image pop. All right, and then on the inside of the card, I just added a little dots and a little heart. Of course, this is just a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of cardstock. So just a very simple way to decorate the inside of the card. Okay, so there you go. Now you have 4 different card ideas that you can create with that adorable little bear in the December paper pumpkin kit. And if you enjoyed these card ideas, feel free to download the printable tutorial. You can find the link in the description below this video. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by liking it and sharing it with your friends. And leave me a comment below to let me know what you enjoyed most about the video and the cards shared here today. Have a fun and creative day, my friends. Take care.